Hello everyone and welcome to this Room 2003 Science Chemistry lesson video called Electron Orbitals. The primary reference we are using for this lesson is an online textbook called Chemistry 2E, specifically section 6.3 Development of Quantum Theory. If you'd like to take a more comprehensive look at that textbook, simply type in the URL you see there on the screen. So far in regards to the atom, we have talked about the subatomic particles, the proton, neutron, and electron, and their overall arrangement within the atom. The proton and neutron in the nucleus, the electron outside of that in the cloud. This particular lesson gets us into a more detailed understanding of what's going on in the electron cloud. Please take a moment to read the current goal for this lesson. And the way that I would restate this goal is to say that relative to the way we've looked at it so far, we are going to take a more detailed look at the cloud. Again, this lesson is about taking a look at the cloud and in a more detailed way how our electrons are arranged within that cloud. Here are the current objectives. Please pause the video for the amount of time needed to read through the objectives, and I recommend you read through them twice. Please pause the video now. Well, welcome back. We want to take a quick look at how we will proceed through the remainder of this lesson video. There are two reading passages from Chemistry 2E with questions in this lesson. Please pause the video at each passage slide, read the passage slide, or look at the pictures or diagrams, and then answer questions. Use the slide numbers to help you rewind as needed. You'll see slide numbers in the lower right-hand corner of the video screen. Please answer your questions on a separate sheet of paper. Use the question numbers that you will see. And in terms of how we'll handle that, assignment specs, it's due April 22nd. And please send me a picture of your work. Use your doodad or your cellular device, whichever kind you have. Take a picture of that and send that to me. Once I get those, I will record a grade and also look at those to determine what follow-up activities we will be completing. Here is the first reading passage. Please pause the video. Read the passage at least once. I recommend you read a minimum of 3 times, but please pause the video now before proceeding. Now let's proceed to the second part of this passage. Again, please pause the video and read the passage. The next slide is our reading passage number 1 questions. Again, take out a piece of paper, label it electron orbitals at the top with your name, put the question number, and answer the questions. Return to the previous slides as needed to answer the questions. Please pause the video now. Okay, so let's move on to the second reading passage. Please pause the video and read this passage through. Again, I recommend at least 3 times. Please pause the video now. Moving to the next slide, reading passage 2. Please pause the video and read the passage. Now this passage also has figure or picture slides with it. So here is the shape of the s orbital. The p orbital shapes. And I want to point out that as you look at these orbital diagrams, these orbital shapes, please note that each individual 3-axis drawing represents one orbital. As we go, you'll see the orbitals pick up more and more shapes within the orbital, but one 3-axis drawing is an orbital, regardless of how many subregions it has. So we have 3 p orbitals, and each orbital shown on this picture, on this slide, is comprised of 2 subregions. D orbital shapes, 5 orbitals comprised of multiple subregions. Similar note as before. F orbital shapes, again, similar note. 7 orbitals, multiple subregions. Okay, I believe that takes us to reading passage number 2 questions. There are actually 2 more slides with questions on them and figures. So I will pause at each slide, allowing time for you to pause and look them over and return to questions, rewind to questions and other slides as needed. So we'll just take a moment here to pause and then flip through the other reading passage slides. Question 2-5. And question 2-6. Now, as it says here, the next 4 slides compare the blocks to the periodic table blocks to the orbital diagrams. So we'll flip through those and take a pause at each one. Here's the S block and orbital shape. S orbital shape. Here's the P block and the P orbital shapes. Here's the D block and D orbital shapes. And the F block and F orbital shapes. Okay, that's the end of this video lesson or lesson video. Please rewind the video as needed to whatever slide you need to as you answer the questions. And also, please, any questions, email or call me. And don't forget our daily Google meeting. You can join me there and we can talk about this lesson video as well. And as always, until we are able to meet again, be safe and be well.